Hello, hello, hello.
Fine, I'll tell you when it goes live on Facebook.
Yep. Just going to lift it up to show them because I've got to the screenshot bit last week. So this is what we made last week.
It's still going live. Yep, you are now live.
Hello.
There you go, I just got a notification.
Woo. So this is what we made last week with 2 rice papers. And yeah, tonight we're going to focus on dripping and scraping. Oh dear Lord Jesus, I was video editing on the weekend. Completely forgot about that. Yep. Right. So let's get started on our new one, dripping and scraping. So the regular dripping and scraping we've got is, and I think we might cover these mostly with watercolors. We might add a few paints, but we'll just go over the first few ones. Dripping I find is easier with watercolor because what you can do is you just come in with, let's say we go with the color orange. Reminisces of the sunny days retreat we had on the weekend in store. So we just grab some of that orange, come in, take it down, and as long as it's standing upright, you could be holding it. Or my favorite thing to do is I get one of the pots that I have sitting on my desk superfluously with things that I don't normally use. It's just there in case, you know, just in case, it could be handy. And you just keep adding water or watercolor to it until you're happy with the depth of it. So you could do it either way. So you could also turn it like this here and get a whole new perspective. Oh, hello, Pam and Di. And we can come in and just say yeah, like we're going to do colours that mix really well tonight, by the way, on this page, because we're not going to wait for them to dry, but I do want to show you multiple different ways. So you could drip it this way and come in and drip into the spine. Just remember that you might damage your spine by doing this. You can also come in and drip things that are already on by adding lots of water. But like I said, as soon as you tip your journal, those drips are going to go whichever way your journal is, if it's not dry. So if you like where they are, key point is to dry it in place. Or for example, you could drip it away from your spine and actually put it so then it sits as like a pyramid or a triangle over top of your paste tub, and just, this is just a regular sized paste tub that I'm using, and just come in, and it's the exact same method, and as you can see, it just drips down across the page, as you can see. Oh, hello, Helen. Whereas scraping, as the name is suggested, you're just scraping the pen across. So it's best to do it with a flat tip paintbrush. And it depends. Like if you do it with one of these ones where it's quite rough, you're going to get a bit more of a textured brush stroke. Whereas if you do it with a smooth flat tip, like this one here, which is similar to the ones you get in Montmartre, just has a smaller stem, you'll get a smooth stroke. So if we just come in with this orange, and just see. And with scraping, you're intentionally wanting to see the marks you make. Whereas with acrylic paint, for example, Let's grab some. Might just grab yellow. What you can come and do, you can either put blobs down on your page or in your palette, and you just grab either a palette knife, or you can grab your scraper card, which mine has gone missing from last week. I think I flicked it somewhere, and my madness to clean my desk 5 minutes before class. Or you can use one of these toolies here, which is it's kind of like a texture maker. We do have these in store. I don't know if we have them online yet. And I think they're just not online because I haven't photographed them. Probably my mistake. Because, like, for example, when you scrape out of a palette knife, obviously you're just going to get it nice and flat. By scraping as well, you'll get it nice and thin, which means that it will dry fairly quick in the weather we're having in Queensland. I don't know about everyone else, but we are nice and warm up here. And then you can come in and do these texture makers. As you can see, it just drags the ink with it. It's quite light, as you can see. Or another fancy thing we can do is that you can actually do dripping and all of that from your stencils and stamp patterns. So if we just dry this real quick.
Yep. I'm just saying about here for this.
So we're just scraping. So it's kind of giving us like a corrugated effect on our page if you look really closely. Super corrugated.
And then the ones that I can do.
If we just grab
And that's how much it was worth.
Oh, nothing.
that one. And
Yeah, I can.
that one. And I've already grabbed out 3 stamps that I think would be pretty cool to try the dripping and scraping from. And then let's have a look at the colours we've got. So I do think if we stick to like the urban type of colour we got, I hope you guys are okay. We're just going to really focus on dripping and scraping today, just because I know some of you don't like doing especially dripping because it gets really wet and messy and it gets everywhere. It's trying to, I don't think I can destigmatize that because it is wet and messy, but give you a bit more confidence that it's okay as long as you've got a messy mat. So or something that absorbs every single thing you do on it, like this, which is why we always work on a book of white paper that no one gives a particular care about. Right, let's get some paint colours.
Oh, but you're going to say that if recently bought it.
Well, it is borrowed from someone else. So, right. Here we go. So, after some foraging, I have found a metallic bronze antique, 2 other metallics, yellow and tangerine, fancy, and orange dimensional acrylic, and just a normal acrylic lemon yellow. So what we might come and do is I'll show you with the dimensional orange. So we're just going to put a little bit of it in here. So with the scraping, obviously, it's very much like buttering a piece of bread or peanut butter or jam, whatever your favorite spread is. So you just grab that on the palette knife. And you make sure the palette knife's in your dominant hand, and your non-dominant's holding down the stencil with your ruler grip. Come in and you scrape. And I'm just doing it in one direction, so that my palette knife can't accidentally end up underneath and smush it. So just one direction, and then we lift. As you can see, our page was wet, so as you can see, the paint's actually slipped underneath because our page was wet, and I'm impatient, but that's okay. And then what you can come and do, so you just come in, and you can scrape on outwards from your edge.
Okay.
Mhm.
We've just moved everyone's store credits from in-store to their online accounts. So they just tick the box that they want to use their store credit when they check out, if they had a store credit, because it comes up as a payment type. And what's the other thing?
Oh, we're moving the store.
Not the online store.
Not the on.
We're moving our in-store checkout.
We're just moving it.
Register is moving.
We're just moving a bit of paperwork. Literally.
Cash register is moving. What are you doing to your new haircut?
Paint, hair, not good. Right, here we go. So we're just coming in again. And scrape down. Lift, and as you can see, same technique, but what we didn't have is we didn't have any wet acrylic, any wet watercolor underneath the stencil when we stenciled it. Because this is just our wood grain stencil. There will be a bundle with all the stencils and stamps I used tonight. So, just as a heads up. There we go.
Whoops.
That was my father in the background. So sorry. He walked into something, I think.
Oh, well. Got the laundry basket and they clipped the back of the old washing machine where I've got to put the belt on, and it sounded like a big bell.
Washing machines are bells now. Handy to know. So that is scraping with a stencil. Now you can also do dripping from a stencil, but we're just going to dry our scraping first. So we're just going to come in and give it a bit of a touch dry. Not too much because I'm impatient. So really, we're just experimenting on how far we can truly take dripping and scraping. Because, like, as you can see, I think I've got scraping down pat. My dripping is a little bit chaotic. But, you know. So you can originally start with scraping for your dripping bit. So let's come in with maybe this yellow here. We might add a bit of white to it just so then it becomes opaque. And that's just my own preference. I like to see what I do personally. You know, I'm sure everyone does too. So let's just grab a little bit of white paint and put it onto our palette with the yellow there. So just, there we go. Looks good. I think it looks really good. Right. So you can either come in and sponge it on or scrape it on with a palette knife first. Your stencil, or blending brush it on, we're going to scrape it. The reason for me scraping it tonight is that I want some body to have when I add water to it so then it drips. Whereas if I blending brush it down or sponge it down, because of the hot weather we're having, the paint could potentially be dry by the time I add water to it. And that's just because we live in Queensland, the warm state, the lovely state. It might be different for someone who lives in Melbourne, or Tasmania, and it's just your weather. Purely weather basis to what happens. So, yeah, we're gonna come in with a palette knife. So then ours is still wet when we come to add some water to get it to drip. So I'm just gonna grab this here and get paint on there and really give it a good scrape. Lift. And then let's come and get our trusty paste bottle that I haven't used for over 2 years now because I don't know what's actually in it. I've got it. Oh no, we got it written on there. Can't remember what it's used for, but you know, figure that out later. And then we're just going to come in, specifically, I'll try and lift it up to show you, adding water just to the end ones. To get it to drip. And then get those to drip down. And what we can do is we could probably flip it and come in. So I am doing a downwards motion towards where I want the drip to go when I add the water in. I am going to move the water pot so then I can get to it easier. So it's just realistically going down. Now, if you want to get a bit of a misting oil, what you could come in is you could use a water spritz to do that. However, mine is currently a ready mixture. Oh, this might be a bad idea. That's gonna be a bad idea. Let's not. I gotta clean out my water spritzer. Okay, so let's come in and do perhaps another one of these over on this page here. So let's come up here. We might break our rule of threes and only do everything in 2 spots tonight. You know? There we go. And then we just can come in now with our paintbrush. Once again, get it to drip. What I might actually do is hold off a minute. It does have a different color in it, but how dangerous could it be? We're only adding a new color to the layout. There we go. A bit dodge, but you know, at least you know it's real. So we've got that one. This is a combination of violet and red acrylic ink from Montmart. The leftovers watered down. So let's just come in. So as you can see, when we do it, it's not actually taking that much, but it's still creating drips. And they're very, very light. I don't even think you guys can see that on camera, maybe. Let's try and mix a little bit of this up. Get it a little bit more random. And we just come in and let it go. Got a few drippies. Right, so this is coming dry. Dripsy doos. Look, you can see them down here in the lighter section. So let's come and dry. Now, well, I think we're on dripping. Let's grab out a stamp we want to do, and we might change it up, and we'll do the dripping this time from an orange color. So let's go for our metallic orange. Well, metallic tangerine. Very fancy. Put a little bit of that down. Now I've just got this flower steel stamp that we have designed. Coming in. Rubbing our stamp down. Just stamping it down, and before it dries, grabbing our tub, grabbing the water, just coming in and rubbing that one, and you can even add just the tiniest bit of paint to it and letting it drip. Look at that. Letting it fade in. I think that looks pretty cool. So let's come and do another one. It's best to stamp flat, even though dripping is good while standing upright. Let's grab the skewer. So if you do end up with paint in between a stamp design, don't be afraid just to come in. That's not a skewer. And to grab a skewer or the end of a paintbrush, something really thin. That one, this is a broken paintbrush, just coming in and getting rid of that excess. It does happen from time to time. I get it happen to me all the time because I'm heavy-handed. That's okay. You can also put our stamps into a sink of water and just let them soak for a couple of seconds before taking them out. Works a treat. So there we go. And then let's just come in again with some of our metallic. I'm just grabbing some of that leftover dimensional orange acrylic paint as well, because it does give that metallic acrylic paint just a little bit more body, as it is transparent / translucent. Now we can't really see that because we did it on the same color. That's okay though. Can come in and just get it to drip. Another thing as well is that you could do multiple of these for say. That you wanted to do them all at once. So you did one here, one down here, one up here, and one over here. And let's just say like they all dried before you got to doing the dripping, which is okay. What you do is you move this so then it's not going to be in the way, A. And B, you just grab a bit of that paint, the same color that you used on your stamp, and you come in and you start at the side you want to blend in or drip, and then you add it and you drip down. because no one's going to know, because it's exactly the same paint color as your stamp. Add as much water as you feel necessary. I personally go just before the paper's about to pulp, because you know it is important that the paper stay paper. And then just keep coming around. There is one here. I don't think we can see it very well, so I'm just going to fake it there. And then we've got one here that I think if I flipped it up this way, and did the dripping from them this way, be very cool. Now, let's come in and do our scraping from stamps. The fun stuff. So let's maybe grab, I think our rainbow would be cool. And we're just going to grab this opaque yellow that we've got going for us. We made from white acrylic paint and yellow acrylic paint. Palette knife at the ready. Come in, stamp our pattern down. Scrape. We didn't really have enough on there. Come in. Stamp down. Scrape. Maybe it'd be better if I showed you. It does look cool, but they're just a little bit ghost-like. The due to the lightness of color on a very vibrant background and the thinness of the patterns. We might go for this bulky one, this abstract one. Very fancy name we came up with for it. Stamp down. Well, my mum has to come up with the names because, you know,
So,
of the patterns I give you for the stamps. Some of them are not very self-explanatory.
no.
A lot of them are random. Stamp him down and then just scrape. I personally, when I do stamping, prefer to do dripping with stamping and then scraping with stencils. It's just my personal, like, what I like. However, everyone has different likes and all the rest of it, and you can do it with both, which is what I'm showing you tonight. Because there are no limits. And there we go. So that's our scraping and stamping. We might need to calm the page down just slightly, I think. I actually think, is this dark green still a little bit? It's kind of a little bit still wet in there. I just break the seal. I had a paintball explode on me yesterday. Not fun, but you know, I do like this dark green a little bit. It's great for blending. So what we might come and do, we're adding the tintiest bit of dark green, and we're just gonna, in celebration of our scraping and dripping, scrape it across, and then come in and do lines coming out of it. And we might just do a bit over here as well.
Oh, you didn't answer this one about this lady got an abandoned car.
When was that?
Then we're just going to come in again. And then, as you can see, we're just...
What time did that one come through?
11:30 today. So just answering them. Carpenter's tools.
I've done that.
Okay.
Done that one.
I just sent one asking if I can do this.
That's it.
I'm just working out reports and
Just
gift cards. Plus a photo of that page. I just need to put these in a folder. For
lining up
sales history excluding the online store, customer list. We've already done
the, like, not lighting it up because it's already very bright. We're just trying to
that one does
get a bit more contrast on there with this dark green we've got on our palette.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got the windows down.
Yeah.
And then what we might do.
See you, Melanie.
See you, Dad.
So
See you, Melanie. You finished ice cream?
Might just dry this and then add a few pen techniques, I think. And because we've dried each layer and we're in the warmer months as well, the page has also dried between each single layer kind of before we added the paint in. So, well, yes, we have the scraper top on top. We still do have the dots and we've got the stamp down here. So just letting you see it before we add in a few final details. So let's come in with our trusty pen. I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come around my circles from my flower seal stamp and add a few of these notches in. And then I might come in on some of my dots from my dot stencil. Do something very similar. And let me just lift it up to show you. So there's little bits and pieces. And by adding not too much of these, but just a little bit around our light yellow, it also will make it the circle stencil stand out just a teensy bit more and really make it pop. So for example, you can see the notches here, right? We're up close, you can see them. Further away, you can't see them directly, but what you can see is that the stencil stands out just a little bit more in those areas. And that's what those little patterns do. They help you see the layers that you've spent so much time working on. Little details are the things that let your work show. So then if we come in with a bit of a metallic acrylic antique bronze, we'll keep up with the theme of scraping. But this time around, we might just come in and scrape it up and down.
Did the painting say yes on it?
Because that was me testing masking fluid out.
Okay. Who's putting me into bed?
And then just a little bit more.
Can you get him to come over here?
Do that one. I think you're going in your normal bed, Bobbin. And then if we just, I'm just grabbing a white paint pen so I can see my arm. We go, and where's that wood grain stencil? Let's come in with real, just a little bit. And we're gonna break the dripping and scraping only rule just this once. And come in.
Yes, Mum.
Can you put her to bed?
And just
Give me a kiss.
use the white pen
No, I love you.
to
See you
outline
woman.
See,
our stencil. I'm just using a regular white paint pen. Our layout is mostly dry though, so this is real easy. So nearly done.
Can't you stop that in the morning?
Okay. Oh, hello, Chloe. Oops, sorry. It's the paint pen tub, and then we're just going to come in and do a little bit of that one there. A bit of that one there. Tinsy bit of white there. Just trying to get a few highlights because I think we're actually done. I know it's only been 40 minutes, but we've done a lot of testing and trialing. Bit of showing, but there you go. I think our page is done. It's a little bit, I do like it. It's a bit different, but we've got lots of layers in there about dripping and scraping. You guys can go and see it. Oh, it's just trying to get you guys, try and build up a bit of confidence because we had another customer request in the last week about dripping. And what was like the most effective way without getting your fingerprints in the drips. So that's where my handy random paint tub comes in to play. Any paint tub works. Like, look, as you can see, same size. Sometimes I even do a 2-level, so I get it really high up, but it doesn't always, as you can see, hold the weight because they have to be full for the 2 tub height. So normally I just stick to the 1 tub and it works perfectly. For me, it makes it just nice and sound. I can come in and paint on that uneven surface. But yeah, that's also the random inks and stuff I keep at my desk. Yeah, orange has really come out for me, I think, in what I use. A few years ago, well, when I was 18, I originally only really painted in teal, pink, and yellow. And now I'm 24, which is a bit of a, oh my God. And I paint nearly in every color. The only one that I really avoid is red, and that's just personal preference. But thank you all for coming. And I do think the personal preference towards red is slowly going away. Slowly. I can use it, but I prefer not to. But anyway, so thank you all for coming, and we shall see you all next week. This week we are sort of, but kind of not normal. We've got card making on Wednesday at normal times, Queensland time, in our subscription group. It's the last week in October.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we have our Friday night live is now on Thursday night, because we have things on both Friday and Saturday for family and business. So Saturday it's Noah's showcase, and Friday's Noah's showcase, and Saturday is Best in Business Awards. Both at the same place too. So I hope the staff get used to us, because that'll be the third time in a fortnight that they'll see us there overall. So thank you all for coming. And yeah, we will see you all throughout the week. Have a wonderful day, and there will be a bun for this one. Bye.
Bye.